Hello everybody, my name is Benjamin Bloom and I have just witnessed Milton Keynes Dons 0, Ipswich Town 1, and again I feel very strangely after this game, Ipswich still unbeaten and until Coventry's late winner were top of the league again, but again slightly unconvincing and quite a case of clinging on maybe for the last 20-25 minutes of this one, which was settled by a John Nolan goal after only about 11 minutes. So a long time, but that defence of Ipswich is now only 4 goals conceded, is doing the business and keeping Ipswich right in there. Here is what happened. So this was kind of a bit of a game of chess between Lambert and Tisdale. So MK have played 3-5-2 now the past certainly the past month or so. I don't know how far that dates back. I've only checked the last few games. So we finally got Lambert matching up, but well, I'll tell you what happens after about 2 minutes. So MK line up. It's Nichols in goal, Paul, Martin X of Norwich, Walsh at the back three, Williams right wing back, Dickinson left wing back, McGrandles, Kasumu and Houghton are also joined by Hiram Boateng in midfield. So Tisdale gives Lambert the issue of, okay, you're going to play 3 centre-backs, well, I'm just going to drop a forward out. I assumed that Boateng was going to play off Nombe up front, but he really doesn't, and it's very, very 5-4-1 looking, or however you want to say that's configured, 3-6-1 virtually, in the end for MK. So this posed Lambert a problem because the Ipswich media team had said 3-5-2 coming into it, which I personally am an advocate of. We've been getting outnumbered in midfield. We haven't been able to keep the ball, but we will find out whether that's our team shape or just our passing ability. So it's Holy in goal. Chambers and Wilson were to be joined by Cole Skews as a 3 at the back. Vincent Young right wing back. Luke Garbutt in at left wing back. He makes his return in place of Miles Kenlock. Flynn Downs and Emma Hughes was to be the starting kind of midfield pair, with John Nolan kind of supposedly in the 10 position, but we know naturally he'll just gravitate a little bit further back, and Norwood and Jackson as ever start up front. And immediately we see 3 Ipswich centre-backs wandering around with 1 MK forward, and Paul Lambert, after about 90 seconds of this one, tears it up and says, okay, Skews, in you go into midfield. And it's pretty much a 4-4-2 diamond. It looked like the midfielders were calling this on the fly. Hopefully they would have practiced this. We saw Charlton do this last year where they had Christian Bielik, where he could move from centre half into midfield and they could swap the shape and the system without making a substitution, and that's exactly what we saw today. So no 3-5-2. We thought he wanted to try it, but he does not get the chance today, and Skews straight into midfield, and Ipswich straight into their stride. Downs first shot of the game here. This one's always rising over the top. Noticeably Garbutt and Vincent Young nice and high. Maybe they've still got the wing back idea in their heads, but it's a really good intense start from Ipswich, but then we've seen this quite a lot, and maybe a little bit of a drop off as the game goes on. Garbutt deep cross here, Jackson heads it back, Norwood's arriving on the volley and it's blocked, slammed in to the defender there. On 11, Norwood goes down the right, he runs the channel nicely. It's a good cross by Norwood. Nolan doing the right thing as the 3rd midfielder. Is he still the 3rd midfielder? I guess he's still in the 10 position here. He gets forward, but he misses the header. However, he's going to stay forward and they're going to recycle this over the far side. Hughes has pulled out. We know he's got that lovely left foot. He swings the cross in. Nolan, he was on the far post initially. He's now come across to the near post and he guides the cross into the corner. The work has been done by Hughes. The pace is already on the ball, and Nolan manages to slide it into the corner, and Ipswich have probably a deserved lead. They've changed on the fly, they've got the fullbacks forward, they've got the intensity going, and they take the lead after I've got 11 minutes down here, but I just saw on the monitor it said 12 on Sky. Great start from Ipswich, and on 18 minutes it should be 2-0, and sometimes you don't need to recycle the ball and make the play to break a team's press. You just need Cole Skews to fly in to a tackle here, which he does, and takes the ball off MK. Norwood's now got it in the 10 position. They're all over the centre halves here. Norwood slides it through. Jackson is in on goal. This is the dictionary definition of a big chance. Middle of the goal-ish, coming up 10 yards. And Nichols comes out, and Jackson can't slide it past him and make the save. Could have been a more comfortable night maybe here. Jackson misses the 1-on-1. Big chance there for 2-0 for Ipswich. 22. Walsh absolutely throws himself into one with Downs here. Risky business there. If he mistimes that, he is off lunging in like that. 24 here. Deep cross from Dickinson, the left wing back, to Williams, the right wing back, who did give Garbutt a little bit of trouble with his running. He comes up on the far post, climbs to header it, but was never going on target. 33, down goes Norwood here. Don't know what happened. Norwood walks himself off the pitch to be replaced by Will Keane. Caden Jackson did take a knock early. We were discussing this in our Blue Monday WhatsApp group, whether Keane had been readied for Jackson, but they did seem to know that Norwood had a problem maybe before. Let's hope that this is a little strain or a dead leg or something of that nature. Norwood didn't look pleased to be substituted, which is different to looking a bit annoyed because you've injured yourself and you're going to be out for a while. So hopefully that is the case. Here comes Will Keane. I guess this is his re-debut. This is his real debut, given that he was a loan sign and he's on an actual contract this year. He's going to have to play well over an hour, given all the stoppage time as well. Comes on 33 minutes. Downs this time slams into a tackle. Ipswich's best playmaking is tackling, dearie me. Beautiful football though here. They moved the ball quickly. This is what we want to see more of from Ipswich, and we don't see a lot of it. Into the channel. Caden Jackson. I'm doing that a bit of a disservice because there's 4 or 5 passes I think before then. Jackson goes off to the left hand side. He's in behind in the channel, quite far over, and Kane Vincent-Young makes a brilliant one from right back. You love to see that. They were really high, those fullbacks. It was a good feature of the first half. Jackson puts it across. Vincent-Young can't quite get across to the near post and he's blocked out, but that possibly was the best football Ipswich played in that half. Excellent stuff there, and unfortunately Vincent-Young can't put it in. MK chance here, knocked over from the left. Williams again causing Garbutt some issues. This time he knocks it across the 6-yard box. Nombe scrambling, but he can't force it in. Ipswich escape. There's a bit of a chase in stoppage time, and Chambers and Nombe have words. I think Nombe maybe tried to shove Chambers into Holy when they were coming together. And it's half time, and we've seen this pattern before from Ipswich. A strong, intense start, quite direct as usual, as we've found this season, but in these opening 20 minutes of these games, what they're doing really well, they're getting men forward, they're putting decent crosses in, they're breaking, they're pressing. As I said, 2 of those chances come from Skews snapping into a tackle and Downs snapping into a tackle. That's pushing on and driving in and pressing. Bit different today, not a straight 4-4-2, so less of an issue with the outnumbering in midfield, but there was a bit of a burden on Garbutt and Vincent-Young, given the rest of the midfield was narrow. And I have to say, I think Tisdale got this totally wrong, the MK boss. I think it was far too cautious from him. Ipswich was set to match up with them, and maybe he tried to be a bit too clever there by dropping Boateng right back and only having one up front. He called Lambert's bluff. Lambert played his card and Ipswich were far the better side in the first half, I would say. And I would also say that Paul Tisdale agrees with me that he gets this wrong, because it's a double change at half time. In comes Barry up front. That gives him a front two and the extra presence they did not have for that entire first half. Britton comes in for Walsh, one of the centre halves. So you're now going to have Britton play right back. Paul and Martin are going to be two centre backs. Williams, versatile player, moves from right wing back to left full back. And then they match up in midfield. It's another diamond. Kasumu's going to sit. Houghton a bit right, Boateng a bit left. Looks like McGrandles was charged with getting forward to support Barry and Nombe for a bit more presence up top there. So maybe some acknowledgement that he did maybe waste the first half there, Tisdale, trying to be a little bit too clever with the game of cat and mouse there. 46, Keane's into the 10 position. You can see he's itching to have a shot here. He tries 2 or 3 times to get it out of his feet. In the end, he does. 25 yards straight down Nichols' throat here. Lovely turn by Britton, who starts well. The substitute slips that through for Barry. Looked like a good angle on the pass there from right back into the front, and Barry can't quite collect that. He's in if he can. Nasty clash of heads here. Skews and Downs. Downs hops straight up. He's a bit bionic mad, isn't he? Skews, who you could also say is a bit of a bionic mad, looks very groggy for a couple of minutes here. They're doing the old follow my finger across and testing his pupils. Look like a nasty one for Skews. Although the ultimate pro that Skews is, actually did Ipswich a favour, because it slowed down MK's quite frenetic start. That, the first of a few stoppage that's going to amount to, spoiler alert, 7 minutes of stoppage time at the end of this. Keane does really well pressing here. He bustles, he's double teaming here with Downs, who stepped out from central midfield. Downs runs over Keane's shoulder. Keane slips it on to Flynn Downs. He's on the angle. It would take either a really hard shot here or a really well directed one right into the corner. Downs tries to go across the keeper. Nichols down to his right makes the save. 58, MK corner here. Hughes, big protest, yellow card for him. Big scramble in the box. Is it going to fall for Barry? It looks like it is, and it just gets away from him. MK definitely on top now, and the pattern is set. We're only on 58 minutes. The pattern is set now for the rest of the game. Ipswich are going to start to sit in a little bit, and we've seen this before now. You've got when McGrandles drops back off the 10 position again so many times, battling in that midfield, and we still haven't found a team yet that Ipswich hold the ball better than in the second half. I don't know what it is, whether they're just using up all their energy in the first half, or we just need a lot more work on holding the ball and holding possession in the second half of these games. But it just does not seem to happen, does it? 63, straight ball into Nombe here. He nods it off, so the smaller guy nodding it off to the bigger guy here. Good feet by Barry. Low left foot here from the angle. Holy down. He's going to have a good second half. Thomas Holy pushes that out to his left. Really good spell by MK. Lambert reacts. Now you'd expect that Hughes is probably blowing a bit, his first league start in forever. So Georgiou comes on for Hughes. It looks like, and this firms up in about 3 minutes time, a 4-2-3-1 now. It looked like the instruction was for Skews and Nolan to sit, so you do have a ball player in there, and Downs to just sit in front and try and keep the pressing going, because that's what worked in the first half. But you cannot rely on that intensity for 90 minutes. These are pro athletes, and you'd have to be the fittest team in the world to just keep that up over and again. Jackson moves off his central front position to play down the right. Georgiou down the left, but the arrows on my diagram here are pointing backwards. They're dropping back and back as Williams and Britton are coming further forward from fullback at MK. The tide flowing in one direction here. 73, MK dominating the ball now. Ipswich just didn't seem to have it in the second half. They're standing firm, not forcing clear chances. We know Tisdale likes MK to play, so they're not tending to lob it into the box here, which kind of suits Ipswich, trying to get in, get that block low, tuck the wide players, Giorgio and Jackson at this point. Edwards is coming on in just a minute. Tuck them in and just make it hard for those guys to play through. As I mentioned, Gwion Edwards, he comes on, Kasumu with a long ranger over the box. That was my point, holding them at arm's length. So far, 74, this is Edwards in for Jackson. Straight swap is going to play down the right, hopefully to give Ipswich an outlet. But is he going to do more defending or attacking, Edwards? I think we know the answer here. But 78, Ipswich counter here. Giorgio, strong in the first instance, and he shrugs his man off. He's on the left-hand side. Nolan, he's got the legs still. He makes the run into the channel ahead of Giorgio, who plays it down the line. Nolan now coming forward. Nolan's a clever player. We know he's going to play it earlier. Keane's making up the ground. Keane's not quick enough, but the ball goes across low past Keane. It's going to roll for Edwards. It's quite inviting for Edwards, who's caught up on the far post. He comes in from the angle, hits the right footer. Can they put the win away? No, they can't. It is blocked out there. I think the chance there was a lighter ball in for Keane to stroke home, but let's give Nolan some credit. He's up. We're 78 minutes into a game where he's done a lot of defending, but 2 minutes later it's a big chance for MK. They've loaded up the back post now. They're getting the right back forward. They're pulling the big forward off to the back, trying to play on Garbutt and trying to play on Vincent Young. When they do go diagonal, there's 3 of them on the back post. It goes loose here into the drop zone, falls to Houghton. He's on the angle. Well played, Thomas Holy. Again, he stands up. It's a difficult angle, but he is close in. Houghton hits the shot. Holy, I think, gets a foot on it, maybe. I'd have to see that one back. And it just goes wide. I would say the forward was favourite there. Big chance for MK. Good save, Holy. Good second half, Holy. Very impressed. Paul, yellow card on Nolan there. Nolan up to a bit of skullduggery in this second half, killing a bit of time and drawing that foul there for the yellow. 84, Giorgio, corner. Chambers is up. He climbs well, but well over the top there. Agard comes in for Boateng now, straight out. 4-3-3 now. 3 forwards on for MK, and they're onto it straight away. Nombe spins, tries to pick out that curler into the top corner. He can't do it. It's over the top. 89, dangerous free kick for MK here. Houghton, he's going to try and catch Holy out. He wants to keep it. I think he's going to cross it to the back post, but he tries to hit the shot, hit it straight and flat. And Holy, I think he touched that one. I think poor call from the ref there. Goal kick given, but should have been a corner. I think 91, Downs takes a yellow in the corner. The board has gone up for 7 minutes, and we've seen this over the years from Ipswich in terms of seeing out big periods of stoppage time and going under quite a few times. Well, they don't today. They do this pretty well, actually. They win a couple of good free kicks. Skews and I think, was it Downs in the corner? I don't remember. All the Ipswich fans sitting in that corner will correct me in the comments, no doubt. One chance, really, Houghton corner. Paul climbs up, heads it over, and Ipswich hold on. And I reiterate, they were clinging on at the end there, and they take the win. They take the 3 points now. I believe that is played 8, won 5, drawn 3, lost 0. So look, the table says Ipswich are in superb form. We all know 2 points per game in these 46 game leagues. Excuse me, I apologise. Bury have gone, haven't they? 44 game league now, but 2 points per game. My point still stands, and Ipswich are over and above that. They're 18 points from 8 games. 16 would be 2 from 2 points per game. So what that does mean is Ipswich have wriggle room, and when you're coming into these 3 game weeks, I said it on the podcast, 6 points will do you. They already have 4, having drawn 1 today, and off they go to Gillingham. Very interesting, like I say, cat and mouse between the managers. Lambert goes 3-5-2 to match up. Tisdale is going to drop Boateng back, leave 1 up front. Lambert reacts, 4-4-2. Diamond gets the upper hand. Ipswich come in 1 up. Tisdale comes back, matches up, and again, similar pattern. We saw pretty much the exact same pattern as Burton. I don't know what point Garbutt scored at Burton, but exactly the same thing. Obviously, Ipswich not clinging on really at Burton due to the red card there, but you take my point. The pattern of these games is Ipswich come out of the blocks, they get the fullbacks high, they snap into the tackles, they're intense, they get the 2 forwards in good possession, by hook or by crook, direct, pushing forward like that. And they tend to, when they score in the first half of these games, they tend to go on and do pretty well, don't they, Ipswich? And then we see the drop-off in the second half. And this is the improvement that we want to see. And please don't watch this and think I'm moaning. Yes, Ipswich are in great form. They are unbeaten. But you just want Ipswich to have that mode where they can keep the ball. It seems Lambert's really keen to get John Nolan in there. And I think he will help in that regard. Would have been interesting if Boateng had gone up front, or maybe Bowery had started. Would have been interesting to see how they use the ball when you have Cole Skews in the back three, which was the plan to begin with. Whether we would have kept the ball a little better in that regard. Let's see what Lambert does on Saturday at Gillingham. Now, will he go 4-4-2? No Rowe today, no Edwards starting, no wingers at all. Fancies Garbutt a wing back, maybe Kenlock comes back. Wolfenden got a rest today. If he is going to play 3, where does that leave Enciala? Does that give him a chance? Good to see Hughes back, and maybe Nolan doesn't get to start. Sorry, not Nolan, Norwood doesn't get to start. Maybe he's injured. It's all very, very interesting, and I hope I'm not coming across as a whinging whiner, but let's take this as an upside. Ipswich are not convincing in a lot of these wins, just in terms of controlling the game. They're getting in front and they're kind of ceding control, and their excellent defensive record is seeing them through. So God forbid if they can keep the same intensity and threat in first half and then control the games in second half. Could be a walk in the park, but it's not proving that way yet. But hey, the results keep coming, and for that I am very, very happy. Remember last season we had to put up with, was it 4 wins or 5 wins in a whole bloody year? That's one every 2 months in a 10-month season. So hey, I don't want to come across, but it does just seem to be this conundrum now. Also, I didn't mention Alan Judge. I'm sure he'd like to sit in that number 10 position in a 3-5-2. That would look tailor-made for him, although he might need the insurance of Skews and Downs behind him. MK, as I said, I think Tisdale got the tactics wrong, and would have been interesting to see maybe Bowery or just Boateng a little bit further forward. But Ipswich get the win. Let me know what you think in the comments. Do you agree? It would have been interesting to see that 3 at the back, but Lambert did what he had to do to not leave 3 guys at the back against 1 defender. And do you agree that there's this kind of weird sense of Ipswich winning games without controlling games, if that makes any sense at all? Because you think the most controlling thing to do in the world would be to win. But just interested to see whether you think in the comments whether the pattern of play could improve and Ipswich could just be a bit more convincing in these wins. Hey, long may it continue. Ipswich in second spot with a game in hand on top when I last checked my phone, but we will see how that transpires. And Gillingham on Saturday, and if you go through a 3-game week with all these clean sheets, and if 7 points comes up, job well done. Thank you for watching, everybody. Follow me on Twitter at Benjamin Bloom. We'll be back with the Blue Monday podcast tomorrow night. Me and Joe Fairs, who was here as well, will be doing that show, so make sure you check that out. My match experience will also be up tomorrow, so hit the subscribe button on YouTube, ring the bell for notifications, and if you're a fan of my work, you can support me on patreon.com/Benjamin Bloom. This will always be free on here, but I would love to do this full time, and that just might require a little bit of bridging while hopefully the following grows on YouTube. Thank you for watching. Ipswich, do it again. Still unbeaten. Another clean sheet. Still in that top 2, but clinging on a little bit at the end. Milton Keynes Dons 0, Ipswich Town 1. Thank you for watching. Over and out.